Hey guys, and welcome to episode 2 of my Road to 120 Slayer series. And I'm not gonna lie, the last episode I got pretty lucky, but this one is just amazing, and it completely destroys the previous episode in terms of my luck. And I started this episode at 40.7 mil Slayer, and I will tell you how much I ended at the end of the episode, so you guys can see like my total progress. So we still have a long way of 64 million or so, but it'll be fun to see what I get throughout the series. Alright, to kick off the episode, one of my first tasks was Edemu, and I can tell you guys that they are one of my favorite tasks now, and you will understand why after this episode. It was absolutely insane. And before I get into that, I just want to say if you are new to Edemu, definitely use range. Range is very good on them because it never splashes really on the big Edemu, so you can kill them very quickly. And range on the normal Edemu is very good in the first place. But actually the most efficient way of killing them is doing like full-on melee, and then when the big guys spawn, you switch to range. That's like technically the most efficient, but I'm too lazy for that. And doing straight range still gets me around like 190 kills per hour, which in all honesty is a lot for how inefficient I am on this game. I got these guys so many times this episode, it's kind of crazy, but 3 tasks later after that first one, I got a 55 rune bar rare drop table drop, and it beamed because, you know, that's like 700k or so. And at first I thought it was a blood shard, but in all honesty, that's still awesome. 700k from just a, a rare drop like that, I'll take it. And my wish actually was granted a little later, and I got a blood shard within the last 10 kills of that task. And at the time, it was about 13 mil, so that made me pretty happy. And I just wanted to tell you guys, during this whole entire episode, I was doing a lot of small, quick tasks like Iron Dragons because I wanted to get a lot of points for the Rune Dragon update, so I could do all of my Rune Dragons on task. And you guys saw that guide and that loot video, hopefully. So it's all done now, but during this entire episode, I did a lot of like quick tasks, like, the irons, the steals, all the really, not really good money tasks, just very quick for points. And here comes the task that was the best task of my entire life on this game. Number 41, I had Edemus, right? So throughout the entire task, I just could not even handle how many blood shards I got. I got 3 in one task. And the sad thing is I can't even show you guys the clips. You know why? Because my Camtasia would not save the clips. I have a temp folder, or I used to have a temp folder of my Camtasia in my SSD drive, and my SSD doesn't hold that much. So when I tried rendering it, it would not render because I didn't have space in the temp folder. So I had to change it afterwards, but I lost the clip in the process. So now I can record really long clips, but it was just a bad mistake. But I can show you guys my adventures log. I did get 3, and look at the timestamps. They were very, very close to each other. So I did get 3 in one task, and I can't believe I didn't have the clip. So at the time with the prices, that task was almost 40 mil profit. So yeah, that's pretty awesome. But blood shards have gone down recently. Only 3 tasks after that amazing task, I got another blood shard, which is pretty hilarious. My friend Adam is struggling to get blood shards at Edemu, and I just kept on getting blood shards over and over and over. And a couple tasks later, my luck just didn't end because I had a Tazar task, and I wanted that done for, quick points, of course, for the Rune Dragons. And I actually got an effigy. Off of those little low-level creatures, I got an effigy, but I didn't get an effigy from, Edemu or Iris. It's just weird that such a low-level monster got me an effigy, and I thought it was pretty funny on stream when I got that. And of course, towards the end of the episode, I did a lot of Rune Dragons. I ended up doing about 524 dragons, which came out to be about 7 tasks. And if you saw my loot video, I didn't really get anything. I only got 2 visages, but those are on my loot slides, so I can add some numbers there. I just wanted to tell you guys that Rune Dragons are terrible experience right now until they buff them. Apparently, they will be buffing the experience on Monday. When they do that, they'll be a lot better for a task, and I'll be getting a lot more experience there. And oh my god, guys, this is the thing that makes this episode just stand out as probably the most lucky video I've ever made. I went to Shadow Creatures, right? They have an extremely rare drop of, dropping a pet piece. So the small guys have a 1 in 1,000 drop rate, the middle guys have 1 in 2,000, and the big guys have a 1 in 3,000. And I already had one of the pieces from my previous series, but I got another one, and this was my Dark Soul. So that was amazing. So now I'm 2 out of the 3 pieces for the pet, and it's one of the most rare pets in the game because not many people do these monsters. So this just puts this episode over the top, and it's insane. So when I stopped slaying, I was at 44 million Slayer, and because of the Rune Dragons, of course, I feel like that's pretty good. Let's go into the loot tabs and the stats tabs. I'll meet you guys there. And the first thing I want to say is my experience per hour has dropped considerably this episode. It was like 170 something K per hour the previous time, but now it's 140K, and that is directly because of the Rune Dragons, because of how bad their experience is. I spent like 8 hours there, and I was only getting like 60K per hour. That's why it dropped down so much, but it'll pick back up when I get more, Edemu and Irate and all that kind of stuff, Dark Beast, and when they actually buff the Rune Dragons. So yeah, already 43 hours into the series right now. That is a little insane, but we're 6 mil in, and I'm pretty happy with the results so far. As for the drops, I did add 2 Visages and 5 Blood Shards, as well as having 4 Ascension Key drops from 1 task and a couple scales. So yeah, that's that for the stats and the loot. Let's go into the tab so I can show you a few things in the actual Slayer tab. Alright, for the actual tab, just remember I do have a lot of Master PVM items in here from that series, and the bottom few rows are just junk right now. I have a lot of my other items in there that don't really need to be in there. But right here, I'm moving around 5 Blood Shards right there. It's going to be really cool to see how many I have at the end of the series. Like, I could be well over 20 because of how lucky I was this episode alone. Ignore the cash. It's just I have it in there for some reason. And then I have actually like over 1,000 Runite ore from this series alone. And then a lot of rune items as well because of the Spring Cleaner not doing 100% efficiency. And I think I have it the tier before the final tier. So it has only like a 70% efficiency rate. So there are some rune items I have to bank consistently. And pretty much all these rune chains are from the series so far. And yeah, like I said the previous episode, I will not be price checking it in this series to make these more condensed and not as convoluted. Because, this series is more for the, the road to 120, not really the money aspect. So I will be doing loot videos instead. So what I plan on doing is every 100 tasks I will be making some sort of loot video to chronicle how much money I've been making from Slayer. So my first one will be coming out before the 3rd episode, and I'll just be going every 100 tasks, and considering a lot of them will be very profitable, like the Edemus and all that stuff that I did this episode, it will be a lot of money. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I enjoyed making it for sure, especially with all the luck I had throughout this entire endeavor. And if you have any suggestions on what I can do to make this series a little more enjoyable or spice it up, I'd love to read those in the comments. But either way, if you like this series, definitely drop down a like. And if you are new to the channel, subscribe, because I'll have a lot more content such as this. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a good day.